רציתי להציג את ראש הוועדה הזו, פרופסור ראובן לסטר, ואני מודה לכל ההצטרפות לאור המצב הנוכחי, כשאנשים תמיד שם עין על הפרויקט החשוב באזורנו, על הקדרון, נחל קדרון, ואדי אל-נהר. ותודה לכולם שהצטרפו גם בזום עכשיו. מוחמד, כל כך טוב לראות אותך. אבנר נתקע, הוא לא יכול להצטרף, בני, אז ראובן אליך.
So, we have to speak in English today and Hebrew. We have to speak in English and
Simultaneously?
Hebrew. Simultaneously. ביחד, גם עברית, גם אנגלית, מכיוון שהעיקר זה לסטודנטים. I invited these 4 students who I'm helping this summer, working with me. And I'm going to go around the table. We're expecting 25 people, but they're not here. Anyway, we're around the table into Zoom. So people just say hello, introduce yourself in English or in Hebrew. ושתי מילים, Steve, you start off.
Okay, I'm not on the camera. My name is Steve Zecker. I work with Glenn Diego here at the Milken Innovation Center.
Aria Rachamiimov, together with Liaora Miron, we prepared the master plan for Kedron Vadinar under the chairmanship of Raubin Lester.
Sam Weiss, I'm a student from America writing an English language research paper over this project.
Mia.
Hi, my name is Mia Weisbooth. I'm also from the same university as Sam, University of Texas, and we're writing the report together.
University of Texas at Austin, people that don't know. בבקשה, בני.
בני אלבז, קמ"ט איכות סביבה, איו"ש, עזה והמעברים. דירקטור environment, ווסט בנק וגזר. אין המעברים.
בני, David. Steve, want to say hello?
Hello.
Hello. Okay.
I'm a guest.
Steve is a guest. So we'll go around the horn here, starting with Michal. Michal just disappeared. Michal, just say hello, introduce yourself.
Hi everyone, my name is Michal. I'm a student at the Hebrew University of Jerusalem, and I'm writing my seminar paper in Professor David Fogel's class, and I'm really happy to be with you guys today.
Avery.
Hi, my name is Avery. I'm a student at Barnet College, Columbia University, and I'm working on a different report for Professor Lester.
David.
Thank you. My name is David Levit-Four. I'm professor at the Hebrew University of Jerusalem, working on public policy issues. I will be part of today with you today, part of the meeting, and I'd love you, Richard, to record it on Zoom if possible, so I can watch it later on, if possible. Thank you.
Are we recording this?
And David's from the Public Policy School.
That's
the
right.
Fetterman School. And good to see you again, David. Thank
you.
Are we recording this in Zoom as well? You don't know.
No,
we're having.
I can.
We can.
Yeah, Zoom it. Hook it up. We're recording it. This David. אנחנו מצלמים את האירוע.
Why you don't sit here?
Okay. Okay.
איתי Freeman.
Hi, good morning. My name is Itai Freeman. I'm the general manager of the Delta Drainage Authority, and as part of you know, we're involved in this project for many years. And I apologize, I will be with you till 11. So I'm happy to be here. Thank you.
We eat the sandwiches at 11, David. As I see. Hamad. Where's Muhammad?
I'm from Jerusalem. I'm a geographer. I work with the Kedron Valley. Was a member in the with the plan. This plan.
Thank you very much, Edith. Introduce yourself, Edith. בוקר טוב.
בוקר טוב.
Wake up, Edith.
נכנסתי להצגה האישית. אוקיי. רגע, זה אנגלית או עברית שאני...
גם וגם.
איך שאת רוצה.
טוב, אוקיי, אז אני גם וגם. היי, אני עידית יחסית, חברת קומיוניטי, ואנחנו בעצם עובדים ברשות ניקוז ים המלח בכל התהליך החברתי וליווי של קהילות הקדרון, מתכנית ועד היום. זהו, hi, I'm Edith Al-Hasid, I'm from community company, environment society, and what we are charging and what we are doing is all the process of society community program in the Kidron.
Recording in progress.
And Wafa's not going to make it, even on Zoom, as far as you know?
נכון.
Okay.
Right.
So, okay, what I suggest is this is informal meeting because it was intended to be informal. Does that mean התכנית שלי הייתה to revisit, לחזור בחזרה לבדוק מה קרה עם תכנית העל. We want to go back and a little bit forward. So, אני חושב Mohammed is, everybody sort of pressed for time. גם Mohammed לחוץ, הוא באמצע מבחן. So, Mohammed, why don't you start off with you know what, Ari, why don't you start off with a few words about that? And you've also got a few slides. Mohammed יתחיל, Mohammed, אתה תפתח עם כמה מילים באנגלית אם אתה יכול. אתה יכול יותר. והשאלה היחידה שאני שואל את כולם, זה התרומה שלך לקידום תכנית העל, ואחר כך לאיתי ולאנשים שדי מעודכנים, ובני, מה קורה בדיוק היום.
אני ב10:30 צריך להציע.
10:30 אתה תהיה בדובר הבא. מוחמד, בבקשה.
As a member of this team for the Kedron, I still keep some relationship with the mayor, last mayor of Abedi, Suleiman, and we still talk about this, the Kedron sometimes. So I hear that they start to do things and they take our plan and they start to implement this project to solve the problem of the sewage that we have there. And they establish, I think, the treatment station in Jabal Mukabbar, but it's not a comprehensive solution. Anyway, because we need another solution for the other sewage that we have from the Palestinian Authority area. So I wonder if they take care about that or what's next again. So I don't have information about this.
נכון, you wouldn't, נכון, you don't, אבל תגיד מילה אחת מה שאתה עשית בתוכנית, בכל זאת. What did you do?
Okay. So when I was a member of this plan, so I tried to call to speak, to explain for the societies that we have. As a result of that, we have a couple of villages and towns for Palestinian Authority area, and they are in different mentalities. We have villagers and Bedouin and people who live in the city itself. So they have different mentalities, and we have to. I explain for them about how it's important for Jerusalem, for people to solve this problem, to have for the ecological problem that we have in the Kedron itself. So as we talk with the Christian people, with Muslims, people in Palestine, in Jerusalem, because they have different mentalities as the result of the different population, their communities. So, but the majority of them, all of them, they participate us, especially in the Kedron itself, the basin, that they participate us and they accept and even to have solution because they suffer. They suffer a lot from the problem that we have in the Kedron. By the way, before 50 years ago, they planted and they had growing in this area before the clean water mixed with the sewage in this area, and they wanted back to they want to treat the tools that they have now to reuse the water for agriculture in this area, and they still want it, but I don't know what's going on now.
תודה, נכון. בני אלבז, צריך לעזור בזה, בני.
אז אני אגיד ככה מספר דברים.
תעדכן אותנו גם.
ככה, קודם כל אני מאוד...
אני מתנצל, אבל אני חייב ללכת.
בסדר, מוחמד, תודה רבה.
להתראות מוחמד.
בהצלחה.
מוחמד, היה כיף לראות אותך.
אני יכול להגיד שהפרויקט הזה יצא לדרך בעקבות האנשים שיושבים פה, ראובן שדחף כל השנים, מדובר על מעל 10 שנים, שדחף לכיוון, כל הצוותים שפה, כל האנשים שפה באמת האמינו בפרויקט, האמינו שזה אפשר לקדם אותו בשיתוף פעולה. והפרויקט הזה יצא לדרך, הצלחתי להחתים את הרשות הפלסטינית יחד עם מתאם פעולות ההשנה בשטחים על הפרויקט שהם אכן אנחנו יוצאים לפרויקט הזה. אני הבאתי לכם פה את הסטטוס של הפרויקט, כולל המפה, מה היום נעשה. בגדול מדובר על 30,000 קוב ביום של שפכים שזורמים בחלק הערי מכיוון ירושלים המזרחית, ישראל, ומכיוון בית סחור. באזור בית לחם, זה עובר למטש בג'אלה, סורק, אנחנו קוראים לו, זה משהו אחר בכלל. כאשר הפרויקט הזה עבר הרבה גלגולים, ניסינו להביא הרבה חברות, לעשות מנהרות, הרבה תוכניות שיעשו, ראובן יודע את זה וגם אתם כנראה שהייתם אכפתים מהפרויקט הזה, אבנר ועוד, עניין אותם בפרויקט הזה, והפרויקט הזה בעצם יצא לדרך עם תמיכה של הרבה גורמים, כולל שיתוף של הרשות הפלסטינאית, שזה אחד הפעמים הבודדות שהם הסכימו ללכת לכיוון של פרויקט למען הסביבה, למען כל הגורמים שגרים שם. אני רוצה באמת לציין את ראש עיריית עבדיה סלימן, שלפני כן שהיה שיתוף פעולה פורה איתו בכל התחומים, הוא היה אכפתי בכלל מהסביבה ומהתושבים שלו, כולל לקבל זרמים של מים מושבים להשקיה במערכת שלו. הפרויקט הזה בגדול מדובר על 30,000 קוב, מדובר על יותר מ-18 מיליון קוב בשנה, שבעצם היו זורם, הנחל הזה היה הנחל הכי מזהם במדינת ישראל. זה הנחל המזהם ביותר במדינת ישראל. היה מפגע כבד באזור ים המלח, כבד מאוד, פגע בים המלח, על כל המשתמע מכך, פגע בכל הירידה של הקדרון שעבר באתרים מאוד מיוחדים, גם לעלייה לרגל לירושלים, גם באזורים המיוחדים שלא קיימים, כמו ג'בל מונטר והמנזרים באזור. המטרה הייתה להקים את הצינור הזה במינימום פגיעה בסביבה, אבל בסופו של דבר למנוע את המפגעים הכבדים שיזרמו לכיוון ים המלח, ובגדול כדאיות כלכלית לנצל את המשאב הזה להשקיה. אתם יודעים, עצי תמר באזור ביריחו ובבקעה, עץ תמר יכול לקבל מים מושבים, יש לו מסננים ואין לו שום בעיה, והיום התמרים שאוכלים זה 13 מיליון קוב מהתמרים, מהמים המושבים. אני פה אציג לכם פה את התוכנית, מה הסטטוס היום, איך זה מתקדם. אז אם אתה יכול להתקדם ולהראות להם.
איך אפשר לעשות את זה בזום או משהו?
לא, אני אצלם ואני אשלח.
אולי רק לתפוס ככה ותראו אותו בטקסט וככה.
אני עושה את זה ככה.
אז במצב הנוכחי ל-2023, מה שבירוק, המנהרה, המתקן התפיסה, המעשה ביוב ושמורה הסכמית בבקעת האורקניה הסתיים. הצהוב, השדרוג של מט"ש האוג בביצוע. מעשה ביוב קטע צפוני בקעת אורגניה מט"ש האוג בביצוע. מתקן טיפול קדם בבריכת ביסוד ביציאה מירושלים בביצוע. מה אנחנו הולכים לפני ביצוע? זה החלק הזה של השמורה ההסכמית שאנחנו הולכים לעבוד עליו. אנחנו אמרנו שקודם כל נפנה לפלסטינאים, ואם הם יעשו את זה...
זה 7 קילומטר או 9 קילומטר.
כן, משהו כזה, כן. קצת פחות, אבל לא משנה, זה בערך פה. וזו המטרה לפני הביצוע, נשארנו הפרויקט הזה, ואתם יכולים לקחת את המפה, זה הסטטוס האמיתי.
תודה.
זה המתקן במורד?
כן.
על בדיוק שבונים עכשיו.
וזה בעצם הפרויקט שמדובר על מאות מיליונים. ראובן מכיר את הפרויקט הזה מכל כיוון.
אבל מה שעדיין חסר לי, בני, אם תוכל להגיד מילה בכל זאת, על למה פלסטינאים לא הם עומדים, אתה אומר, לקחת ביוב של בית סחור, בית ג'לל, לכיוון אחר,
בוא אני אגיד לך.
אבל מה לגבי מה שקורה היום?
אני אגיד לך, התל"ג הפלסטיני הוא $2,200. התל"ג הישראלי הוא $47,000. יש הבדלים עצומים בין הרמה הפלסטינאית לרמה הישראלית. עצומים, מדובר על עשרות שנים של לסגור פער כזה. כאשר המטרה לקדם פרויקטים ביהודה ושומרון, ואני מקדם הרבה פרויקטים, גם אסף רמון של היום ה-KFW מתקדם איתו, גם $40 מיליון יורו, הרבה פרויקטים, פרויקט בחברון, של מט"ש חברון שיוצאים כל מיני דונר ועוד כמה מדינות מתחברות גם ב100 מיליון יורו. נכנסים פה פרויקטים גדולים מאוד, פלסטינאים אין להם כסף לתשתיות. הם בקושי, בוא נגיד שהם מנסים ב$2,200 תל"ג לאדם, זה אומר הרבה אתה לא יכול לבקש, אתה לא יכול לדרוש, ואז אם יש גופים בינלאומיים שמוכנים להיכנס ולתרום ולתת, כמו שהיום הולכים להקים בעלות של כמעט $1 מיליארד באזור ג'נין, מתקן השבת אנרגיה, עם ההולנדים והצרפתים ועוד גורמים, כאשר המטרה באמת להביא גורמים בינלאומיים. אבל בגלל הנושא של עזה, שהיום עזה עוברת שיקום מכל הבחינות, הרבה מדינות תורמות העבירו כספים מקום לאיו"ש לעזה. ויש פה...
אז אתה לא יודע מה הסטטוס היום לגבי ה7 קילומטר האלה עם הפלסטינים?
אני לא יכול להרחיב, אבל אני...
זה בדיבורים.
בוא נגיד שאנחנו בדיבור מול הפלסטינאים, אבל אנחנו לא נעצור את הפרויקט.
הבנתי.
אוקיי, ברגישות.
תודה רבה.
נשמח לשאלת הבהרה, אם אפשר. גם כי I didn't see the map, so I couldn't exactly see, but we're specifically... עברית ואנגלית זה משנה? או לא?
לא.
בעברית יותר טוב.
בעברית יותר טוב.
במונחים מקצועיים בעברית יותר טוב.
אני לא ראיתי בדיוק את החלק שבאדום, שטרם בוצע, אני מניחה שזה האזור ליד הגדר.
כן, נכון.
ובעצם אתה אומר שהעניין של תקציב, זה בעצם מה שחוסם אותם, לא עניין פוליטי.
לא, גם לא אמרתי תקציב, וגם לא עניין פוליטי. בתחילת ההסכם שחתמתי והבאנו את המתאם ואותי ואת חוסיין השייח, שר לעניינים אזרחיים, שהוא חתם על ההסכם, הפלסטינאים אמרו שאת החלק הזה הם יעשו. אני אמרתי רק שאנחנו לא נעכב את הפרויקט. יותר מזה אני לא יכול להרחיב.
אז אם אתם לא תעקבו את הפרויקט, בעצם חברה ישראל תבנה את החלק הזה.
בני לא
אמרתי.
הוא לא רוצה לפרש, המבין יבין.
אנחנו עובדים הרבה מול הפלסטינאים מתחת לרדאר בהרבה תחומים כדי לתת פתרונות סביבתיים. אצלי, שאני הממונה על כל הנושאים האלה ביהודה ושומרון וגם באזור עזה, שאני עכשיו מפעיל שם הרבה פרויקטים, המטרה היא הסביבה. הסביבה היא מעבר לפוליטיקה, היא מעבר לכל, היא האוכלוסיות שגרות פה. גרים כ500,000 ישראלים באיו"ש ומעל כמעט 3 מיליון פלסטינאים ביהודה ושומרון, כאשר המטרה לצאת מהזה, ואני יכול להגיד לכם שיש פניות רבות מתושבים, שלא מעניין אותם אחד מהפוליטיקה, מעניין אותם שלא יהיה להם משל ליד הבית, מעניין אותו שלא יהיה לו מחצבה ליד הבית, ומעניין אותו שלא יהיה לו ריח ממתקני טיהור שפכים שזורמים שם. וגם הפלסטינאים מתקדמים מאוד בקידום מתקני טיהור שפכים אצלהם. יש להם היום 2 מיליון פלסטינאים שופכים באתרים מוסדרים של פסולת, מה שלא היה הרבה שנים. יש לנו אתר שנקרא זרת פינג'אן בג'נין, שקולט 1,300 טון ביום. יש לנו אתר שנקרא באלמיניה, שגם הוא בניהול פלסטיני, למרות שהוא בשטח C, שקולט כ1,300 טון ביום. ובאמת ראש המינהל האזרחי גם מוביל את השנה הזאת כשנת סביבה. אומר, השנה הזאת אנחנו מטפלים בסביבה על כל המשתמע אותה. ומקרן הניקיון הוקצבו כ100 מיליון שקל רק עבור פרויקטים כאלו.
יפה, תודה. איתי, אולי תשלים. אבל אתה יכול לדבר באנגלית?
רק אני יכול פשוט להוסיף ששלחתי עכשיו את התמונה של המפה שיראה לנו, זה בטלפון שלכם.
אנחנו נצלם נעביר את זה.
דיברתי.
ופה יש את הסטטוס המלא של כל הפרויקט, אני יכול לקרוא אותו.
באמת. איתי תשלים אולי.
רציתי להיות בקשר.
בואו רק אולי תחדד בדיוק מה אתה רוצה שאני
תשמע.
סקירה די רחבה.
לא, אני אגיד לך, אתה מעודכן.
Speak in English or Hebrew, what's better for the...
Better for English is better. Benny also can speak English, he just did it easy on himself. Benny's English is good.
So I just want to emphasize the scale of the project. The project stretches for 40 Ks.
אז הערכה רבה לסטודנטים שאכפת להם מהדבר הזה.
תודה רבה לך על האכפתיות שלך.
תודה רבה לך, תודה לאריה, תודה רבה, תודה.
תודה רבה.
ביי. תודה, שמחתי לראות אותך. איש חכם. שלום לך.
The project stretch from Jerusalem to almost Jericho is about almost $1 billion shekels. Almost. Which is unbelievable the scale that we're talking about for the past few years. I think it's the largest infrastructure or desert river rehabilitation in Israel now by far. After the Kishon, but much more than what was invested in the Kishon, in the downstream of the Kishon River. It was being led by the Gichon. We are partners with the Gichon. They are the main leaders of the project. It's important to emphasize that because it's a regional organization that's being led by a stretch to the arms way beyond its borders. And it's a very important issue to, when we talk about public policy, to emphasize that the Ministry of Energy and Water took a regional water utility organization and sent them to build the project. It's way beyond its jurisdiction in terms of borders. And this is an interesting point that we need to sometimes discuss that. We partnered with the Gichon in the city limits of Jerusalem. And we've been working physically on the project for the last 4 years. But if we want to scale up the time scale, you started this plan, I think in the 2012 or 2010. And this is like 13 years from now. And now we've been working, and it's due to complete in about the end of 25, in the second quarter of 25. That gives you a time scale of 15 years. I think it's important for the students to understand that. Not many people in the project that's working now are aware of the time scale that we're talking about, and what has changed between the previous plan that the Akdron master plan has drawn and what we've been working on now. The project being led by Israel. The cooperation with the Palestinians is not the main issue here. There was an evolution in the middle of the project about who will build an 8-kilometer section, which is in the Palestinian Authority, what we call Area A, just adjacent to the Jerusalem city limits. And this is still not clear who will build the sewer pipes there. But the project is being built in I think 4 areas in parallel in Jerusalem, in the Judea desert, and in the sewage treatment plant, all in parallel now. Another interesting decision being made by the Gichon is they are implementing a facility that will create electricity out of the sewage. They're building a turbine that is being built in the sewage treatment plant that will take the energy of just to give you a scale, the water leave Jerusalem at about plus 506. It's in the middle of the way. It's about let's say near the the monastery, Maltava Monastery, is about plus 100. And then in the Og sewer treatment plant is about minus 100, if I recall it. So they take this energy of the water and implement a turbine that will create electricity. So the sewage treatment plant will be neutral in terms of electricity demand and usage. So this is a huge success, by the way. It's very unique to create electricity out of sewer. It's a very complex engineering challenge. So this is I gave you some points about the project. I think we have a phenomenal management company that we took to manage this project. It's very complex in terms of the length, of how you spread your arms managing various projects, various structures in various places. And if we pour down into this spot, the geopolitical challenges makes things even much complicated. But it's working. At the end of the day, for the last 3 years, it's a full-scale working. In Jerusalem, we completed our part, which is a pretty big drainage facility that will enable to build sewer treatment plants. It's a preliminary treatment plant in Jerusalem, in Jabal Mukabel, with the Gichon, and now they're working from Jerusalem all the way to Jericho. I think it's a major success with a lot of problems, but there is no reason that it will be completed in 2025 and the dry riverbed will be dry again. Part of it, by the way, is already dry, so it's a huge success. This is just a few points that I would like to give you on that. If you have any questions, so please.
I've got a quick one. Itai, that was excellent. On the management of the project, on the electricity, is that all done, the wastewater treatment plant and the electrical generation, is it the same plant down there south of the, east of the monastery?
The turbine is being built in the opposite, on the north side of the river, opposite the monastery. We built a tunnel.
Oh, there, I see.
Okay. Tunnel that took the two 800-millimeter pipes through the mountain. In the east side of this tunnel, we built it's a huge reservoir. It's closed reservoir. It's a pool, concrete pool, that takes the sewer and manage the flow of the sewer from this height all the way to the sewage treatment plant. So it will be a continuous flow through the turbine, and the turbine will be installed in the Og sewage treatment plant.
Oh, in the Og side.
In the final side, the final plant.
And whose technology is that? Is that Siemens or is it?
It's an Austrian company. I don't know the name of the company. Just know it's Austrian technology. Who's
the project manager that you say is managing? Because it is a difficult project between the two.
Sviba.
It's the Sviba engineering is the overall management of the whole project. I don't know who deals with specific with this.
The waste to energy.
That's a very interesting one.
It's fascinating. So that's Sviba?
Sviba. I have the detail. I invited them to come there, but Itai's filling in. Itai, I assume you're also using the methane gas also at the old treatment plant for energy. I didn't hear that, but I'm guessing.
I'm not familiar with it. They brought, it's not a new technology, but they brought a technology from the United States that can, the challenge was there is an active sewage treatment plant, a very old one, very extensive one, and they need to, even I think, triple the capacity within the sewage treatment plant already working. So they brought some kind of technology from America. I'm not familiar with this project, but there are.
That should be.
It will. I think at the end of the day, it will be almost the third biggest sewage treatment plant in Israel.
Wow.
They almost triple that.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Very good. And one final question, there was discussion in the contract itself, the vision of the, what's called the purified effluent, kolchim, shiotzim, are supposed to go to Jericho, supposed to go to here and to there and to the Jordanian settlers. Is there been a final decision made about that, or that's still up in the air?
As far as I know, it's already there. It's already there. I'm not doing the numbers.
Okay.
But the Palestinian will get, if I recall, and don't get me the numbers, the Palestinian is due to get what they contribute upstream. They will get it in Jericho, and the Bekat HaYarden Regional Council and Megillot Regional Council will get the other part, which is a third-degree purified water for agriculture.
Okay.
Can I have another question?
Sure, why not?
So you were just going through the numbers pretty quickly, and I thought, especially for the students that are trying to put this together, so you said around, I don't know the magnitude of the numbers, but I thought it was like 815 million shekels was the plant down
the whole project
east of, but just the plant, the wastewater treatment plant east of Marsaba. Well, let's go over it. I just wanted to. Itai, do you have that kind of in your brain? Just what the numbers are between Jabal Mukaber, they're closer to Nebi Musa, and then over to the Og. The total project cost.
No, the total project, just what you said, about 850, even more. I don't recall if I recall the project within Jerusalem area, it's about 220 million, because this is a part that we were involved in. The parts, I don't recall the numbers of the sections of the project, because each section was very different. So I don't recall the section.
But for their work, could they get that from you or one of your colleagues, just to get a table with the final kind of estimate of the total project cost?
No, it's no problem. We can try that.
Great.
Thank you very much. David, I
is there time for a question?
Go ahead. Okay, Michal.
Yes, I didn't hear that.
Okay. Go ahead, that's the question.
Regarding the agricultural runoff, who gets what of the water? You said that the Palestinian Authority, they'll get according to what they contribute upstream. Is that referring to the water from Jabal Mukaber, or it's just like, I don't know, I'm trying to understand what that proportion of the water is based on.
I'm not sure of the numbers, because the Palestinians contribute not just to Jabal Mukaber and East Jerusalem, they contribute from the south side of Jerusalem in the Darga riverbed, which is through Baal and Umbisun, and I don't remember all the neighborhoods, are being pumped from this basin all the way up to the Kidron. Okay, so it's not just from one basin; it's the southern basin too. Okay, so it's larger than just Jabal Mukaber. It's much larger, and it's pretty complex because from Jerusalem proper there are a certain amount, and then just opposite the fence from the Palestinian Authority, there is a huge stream of sewage that comes from help me with that, I don't recall the name, from the south side of Jerusalem. A few neighbors and villages there, and then downstream from Obadiah. So the contribution of Palestinian students, it's not from one source, and I'm not in the numbers of how much sewer they're contributing.
Okay.
So the differential agreement was based on just a general population. So I'm saying the settlers, or in Gilot, and they're basically getting a portion of water created in West Jerusalem. Is that how it's?
It's part of the Jewish neighborhoods of Jerusalem. The water is the sewage. They say Hachoma is being pumped up to the being purified near the neighborhood and being pumped up to the city and being used for irrigation and gardening. Okay, so it's huge. Jerusalem is huge. Every neighborhood is like a small city. So each neighborhood has its own solution in terms of, most of it goes west to the Sorek sewage treatment plant, and now a pretty large part of the East Jerusalem, not just East Jerusalem in terms of the Jewish neighborhoods, will be going to the Kedron. And by the way, not just in the Kedron basin, and in the southern, the Darga basin too, which is what's the name of the Jewish neighborhood? It's Survahel, Idit. רק מצפון
תלפיות.
תלפיות, אוקיי, נכון, תלפיות.
ארמון הנציב.
ארמון הנציב, תלפיות, צורבאר,
ארנונה.
ארנונה, ודיחור, יש שם, in the Darga basin, there's few Palestinian villages and neighbors from Jerusalem, and it will be all being pumped. There's a huge, rebuilt a huge pumping station there. Now they're building a new pipe that will connect these two basins, and it will all go down to the Kedron project.
Itaya, one more question from Sam, and then we'll move on.
Will the purified effluent from the plant near Nebi Musa, will that be sold or will that be given? Because if it's coming from the Palestinian sewage, will that be the amount of water that they can sell to the Palestinians, or will that be the amount of water that is given free of charge?
I have no idea.
I have no idea.
In terms of, I know the Jewish communities within the Bishal Regional Council will have to pay for the water, plus everybody else. I don't know what the agreement with the Palestinians in terms of how they get, what they pay, if they pay. I have no idea about that.
Right, Itaya, you're absolutely right. Okay, תודה רבה.
Would Benny know the answer to that question?
Benny, בואו נתקדם, Glenn, we're not here.
No, just asking. Okay, go ahead.
You're not going to get answers to some of these questions. You probably realize that by now. You obviously know that. דוד, אתה רוצה להוסיף איזה מילה? דוד לוי פור. לא יודע אם אתה איתנו בכלל. אתה במיוט.
אני מקשיב ותודה רבה.
תודה לך. אריה.
Steve, can you be second? אתה תוכל להחליט?
אני יכול, אתה יכול. זה ככה, נכון? רק פה. אני עושה? כן. בסדר, בסדר.
Thank you, Rahman.
תודה.
First of all, I would like to thank Itai. The whole project was initiated and done through the management of the Dead Sea Drainage Authority, and we are very thankful for this cooperation. This project was done through the collaboration of many disciplines, many colleagues work on this project. Hydrology, archaeology, history, infrastructural design, tourism planning, transportation. So it has a holistic basis for this project in the first stage, which was the master plan stage. The second stage of the project was action plan, how to actually implement the master plan. We have to keep in mind that this is a unique situation The Kidron Basin starts from the old city of Jerusalem, goes through the southern neighborhoods, both Israeli and Palestinian. There is Armon HaNatziv, Talpiot, of course, there is Silwan, and it goes by Obadiah to the Dead Sea. The Kidron Valley connects the old city and the Dead Sea. There are two, if we use the terminology of UNESCO, these are outstanding universal values. The old city of Jerusalem and Dead Sea, both of them have universal outstanding value. And to look at this topographic corridor as a connector of these two sites is of extreme importance in itself. If we look at the figures, Jerusalem has 1 million inhabitants at the present and growing. About 1/3 of the population is within the basin of the Kidron. If we look at this from the international universal value, it's outstanding. But can you?
Sure.
This is the other side of the reality. Benny Elbaz very eloquently described the figures. 30,000 cubic meters per day, 18 million cubic meters annually, flow untreated. 1/3 of Jerusalem's population, the sewage is going untreated along this outstanding landscape, outstanding heritage. So our challenge was multi-dimensional, to preserve this cultural corridor, landscape corridor, and at the same time establish the basis for solving this huge problem of infrastructure. Please. We like to draw, and we like to look at the space of the Kidron three-dimensionally, with the old city at the top and the corridor of the Kidron Valley flows to the east with Marsaba Monastery at the lower part. This is a cultural corridor with huge importance, economic importance, as a place which has the possibility to develop tourism, but it also has the importance of preserving the natural, ecological aspects of this area. Keep in mind that half of the Bible was written in this place. Keep in mind that this place is of great importance for the three major religions. So we have multi-level responsibility. I mean, we as community, we have to look at this from many different aspects. And I am very glad that the project, which is not only master plan, but it's an action plan, as we heard just now, has the possibility to develop solutions for the sewage, but at the same time it creates the platform upon which pilgrimage, cultural tourism, general tourism can be actually implemented in this area. Let's look at the hazards. The Dead Sea is shrinking. Over the next 2 generations, 50 years from now, the Dead Sea will drop 70 meters. This means that the infrastructure of roads, pipes will have to accommodate to the changing situation of the shrinking of the Dead Sea. When the Dead Sea shrinks, the Kidron basin will also change. There will be a drop of 70 meters, which means that the Kidron River will erode, and there will be at the bottom road number 90, which is the major tourism corridor from south to north, will have to be transformed. So what was appropriate 10 years ago when we prepared this plan, we could look at the Kidron Valley basin as a spatial entity. But nowadays we have to look at the broader context, not just the Kidron Valley, but the entire Dead Sea together with the desert above it, coming to the hills of Jerusalem, Bethlehem, Betzachur. So it requires at this stage a broader view of the context that 15 years ago it was appropriate. Please. I'm very glad that Edith is with us, because this project stimulated community activity of great importance. And I would like just to conclude by showing the importance of such a project to the community, studying environmental aspects, social aspects. I remember very well the project of photographing the neighborhood, the environment. That was a very important way to understand the context within which many communities actually live. And this was very stimulating to see that such an activity can take place within the context of preparing a plan for the Kidron Valley. Thank you.
שאלות לאריה? Questions to Arya?
Beautiful presentation as always.
Lovely, מצוין. עידית, אני חושב שהכדור עובר אלייך, בדיוק כי קיבלת את הכדור בהרמה.
לא שכחתי.
כן.
לפני רגע עידית, אני מתנצל כי אני צריך לצאת, אז תודה על הזמן.
תודה איתי. אנחנו נארגן עוד אחד.
שבהצלחה.
איתי, תודה רבה לך על השיתוף פעולה.
תודה רבה.
בשמחה.
תודה. עידית.
אריה, רק אני אגיד, לדעתי בחורף, בוא ננסה קצת חורף, אני מציע לעשות איזה סיור באתר. בוא נאמר שלאזור הזה בקיץ קצת פחות, אבל בחורף לדעתי גם יהיה הרבה יותר מה להרוס, והוא מאוד משמעותי, אז בואו נדבר על זה בנפרד ראובן.
תארגן איתי ואני, אתה יודע, אנחנו נארגן את הכל.
אנחנו נארגן את זה.
יופי, להתראות. תודה.
תודה רבה.
ביי איתי, שמי. טוב, את האמת אני באנרגיה לעברית, אז אם זה בסדר אז אני מעדיפה, ואם לא אז אני אעבור לאנגלית. אז מה...
תערבבי קצת, כי יש כאן שני סטודנטים, סטודנטיות האמת, שלא יודעות אנגלית, אז את קצת, לערבב קצת, דברי עברית ואחר כך...
לערבב, אז אני אעשה, כי לא הכנתי את עצמי ככה לזה, אבל בסדר. אז אני אתחיל בעברית ואני אעבור לאנגלית, בסדר? אני אנסה להתמקד מהסיבה היא שבאמת אריה הציג את תוכנית האב, ויצא לי באמת, אני אומרת, המזל להתחבר בין הספרתיות שותפה לתהליך הראשוני. ולתוכנית האב יש משמעות, אני חושבת שזה גם אם אנחנו מתעסקים על ללמוד ובאמת לעשות איזה סוג של רפלקציה. אז כשמסתכלים על תוכנית אב, אנחנו מסתכלים עליה כתוכנית חזונית, ובהקשר בוודאי של הקדרון וגם היום, לא סתם איתי אמר סיור, תכף נדבר על זה, החזון הוא היה באמת מכוון, הוא היה הוא היה מגדלו, הוא היה דבר מאוד משמעותי, ולאן, מה לדמיין עם הקהילה, על מה לדבר, וגם בעקרונות שלו. אחד העקרונות הכי משמעותיים זה היה בעצם אהבת אדם, שאני זוכרת שלא ראיתי אף פעם באף תוכנית, לא מתאר ולא תוכנית אב, משהו שמתייחס להיבט כל כך, נקרא לזה, הרגשי. זאת אומרת שכותבים בתוכנית אב, שהיא יכולה להיות מאומצת לתוכנית סטטוטורית, למסמך מדיניות, כותבים משהו שהוא בעצם משהו שהוא כביכול מאוד מנצ'י, מאוד אישי, ואני זוכרת שזה ממש קנה את ליבי, וזה היה בהחלט משהו מאוד משמעותי בכל התהליך שהובלנו בתהליך החברתי. אז ב-2012 למעשה התחלנו בתהליך ראשוני של איך להטמיע או לחבר את הקהילה לתהליך שהוא מאוד מאוד אמורפי, תהליך שהוא לא ברור. איך מחברים אנשים למצב שהם בעצמם חיים בכאוס, בכאוס סביבתי, בכאוס פוליטי, בכאוס חברתי, ואיך מייצרים להם איזה סוג של תקווה באמצעות משהו שהוא הפוטנציאל באמת משנה מציאות ומשנה חיים עבורם. ואפשר להגדיר שבמשך העשור אני יכולה לחלק את המהלך והעבודה הקהילתית בקדרון לשלושה רבדים. הרובד הראשון, אני אקרא לו, זה כל מה שקשור להשקעה בתשתית האנושית מתוך המשימה המרכזית, מה שהזכרתי קודם, של אהבת האדם. לשים את האדם במרכז ולא התכנון, תכנון יבוא, אבל איך האנשים כאנשים הם בעצם הפוקוס, ומתוך זה חלק מהתמונות פה שאריה הראה, כל הפרקטיקות שמדברות על בכלל להעביר ידע, להתחבר בצורה רגשית לכל המרחב מההיבט של נכסי טבע, להבין את המורשת המקומית, לחבר אנשים כמה שיותר למרחב, ואני אציין שב-2012 כל השיח של הקיימות לא היה נוכח במזרח ירושלים. אז ההשקעה בתשתית אנושית, כדי שבסופו של דבר זה יהיה חלק מתוך הידע, מתוך השיח המקומי, זאת הייתה משימה מאוד משמעותית, כצעד ראשון. והייתי מגדירה את זה כבנייה בעצם של הנטוורקינג. השלב השני הוא בעצם סוג של העברה של המקל לשותפים. ואני אומרת את זה שהשותפים זה בעצם נחלק לשניים. זה עיריית ירושלים שבעצם ראתה שוואלה, יש אופציה לשיתוף פעולה עם הקהילה, שזה נושא שכן מעניין, זה לא רק nice to have לאנשים מסוימים, בעצם זה להכניס את עיריית ירושלים, מה שנקרא, לסוג של איזה התאהבות, ודרך זה בעצם היום עיריית ירושלים, ומופע לא נמצאת איתנו היום, בעצם אימצה חלק מהאנשים שעבדו איתנו בקדרון והפכו להיות חלק מתוך הצוותים שלה, ולהבנות בעצם את כל מחלקת קיימות של מזרח ירושלים. היא מבוססת בסופו של דבר על התשתיות הראשונות, כמו שיש תשתיות פיזיות שעובדים עליהן, שרשות ניקוז עובדת עליהן, אז בעצם אנחנו עובדנו במקביל לתשתיות האנושיות, ששניהם בסופו של דבר יעברו לעיריית ירושלים. כי זה שטח מוניציפלי של עיריית ירושלים. אני מדברת כמובן רק בצד של עד החומה ולא מעבר, בצד הפלסטיני. אז זה בעצם השלב השני, וזה היה על ידי כל מיני גם קורסים שעשינו בשיתוף עם דוד ילין. היה לנו מודל שנקרא תעסוקה בקהילה, שזה מודל של נשים, בעיקר נשים, שהועסקו כמדריכות בתוך בתי ספר, בתוך השכונות השונות, והם בעצם העבירו את הידע וגם הרוויחו מזה כסף. זה בעצם סגירה של השיח של קיימות של סביבה, חברה וכלכלה, והרבה מאוד השקעה בכל מה שקשור ליזמות חברתית. זאת הייתה הפעם ראשונה שבעצם רשות ניקוז נתנה כסף לתושבים בתוך ארגונים, כמובן לא לאנשים פרטיים, ליזום, לחשוב על רעיונות שעונים על צרכים מקומיים, או נותנים איזשהו מענה לטובת הקהילה.
עידית, אני עושה אותה,
היה פה עוד פיתוח של עוד שריר, נקרא לזה, שזה בעצם השריר הזה של אנשים, היזמות והאוטונומיה. אנחנו כבית ספר בוחרים מה לעשות, והכסף הוא לטובת הקהילה.
עידית, עצרי שנייה אחת. כן. אמרת שתדברי קצת עברית, קצת אנגלית, אבל לא עשית שום דבר.
סליחה.
אני הולך לעשות סיכום קצר על מה שאמרת, כי עברי לא יהיו...
סליחה, אני מתנצלת.
יותר אדם לנו, הייתי אישית. רגע, עצרי שנייה.
אתה עושה? אוקיי.
אני אעשה את זה יותר מהר ומהר, תתקני אותי.
יאללה, לך על זה.
Edith had to connect the Palestinian community with the project. That was a major job she had to handle. She did that in 3 stages. She's already done talking about 2 stages. She'll get to the third one in a second. But the first stage was to map the situation. In other words, who are the people involved and how do you get them involved in the project? But the first thing is to find who they are, which the communities are in the project, how are they connected to the environment, and the first thing she learned was that they're not at all connected to the environment. The Palestinians had no connection to the physical environment. They have enough problems, as we say. The second stage was getting them involved, getting them connected. And what it means is that you transfer your responsibility to them. It's not only our problem, it's their problem, but it's also their solution. So that's why we had all these projects that were paid for, and we had all these people working in the Palestinian side. In other words, they were getting paid on the project. That's a very important point, because if you don't give people money, they'll only volunteer for a short period. There aren't many volunteers like me around. So you have to have people getting paid to get to their work. So these people got money, and they built up a cadre, a group of, and mostly women, by the way. And he did mention one of them, Wafa, who's supposed to be with us today, but she was actually hired later by the city of Jerusalem to continue her work in the project. And Edith is also still working with the Dead Sea Drainage Authority, who are supporting her projects there. Edith, number 3. I didn't finish if he's faster much.
Okay, all this also, of course, it's the empowerment of the community. This is the main, I think it's the main issue. Are you giving the opportunity, first of all, and then the tools, how to do. And what to do is their own accountability and their own passion and their own, as a community, they choose what to do. So this is I think it's a very important goals in this area, especially in the Palestinian communities. I can admit that a lot of things changing in the east of Jerusalem by the Israeli government, because the attention for more money for education, more money for facilities, infrastructures, they are new. I can say the last between 3-5 years, a lot of things change. Also the American road, הכביש האמריקאי, ככה מתרגמים. It was something that was very important to change, and now actually it's a new transport infrastructure, so it's a new road, so it's very important. Of course, we can say that not many things about things that didn't happen yet, but it's very important to say that a lot of things really changed since 10 years ago. So it means that we are in the process of develop also for the understanding of the Israeli authority that they cannot leave it as is. Of course, we have still a lot of problem with, of course, waste management and other things that have to change. But a lot of things change for the good way. And another things that change also is the Palestinians by themselves, because they want more education in the Israelis curriculum. Schools, universities. They want to be a part of the Israeli society because they want well-being, economic well-being, and some of them, of course, it's also political issue and political statement that they said that we want to be a part of even we are Palestinians, even we are not a part because we are not a full citizen, okay? But we want to be for ourselves a part of the life in Jerusalem and also economical, part of economical opportunities that it's very important, especially for the young generation for 18 up, okay, that they want really, they know, you know, they use all the social networking, they need to speak they know to speak some of them very good Hebrew. They are doing a lot of effort to be Hebrew speakers, and we can see it. Of course, it's not. It doesn't mean that they are not Palestinian in their own identity, but there are people, especially the young generation, in between. And this is very important to understand how is to live as a citizen with identity that is in between. You are not, some of them, they are not really Palestinians, and even they don't like the political Palestinians, they don't believe in that, but they are not also Israelis. And it's a very difficult situation. So it's very important to understand also this situation. Why? Because what we see now, we are in the third step. What we are seeing what we are seeing, a lot of things changing by people that they want to learn more about the environment, to be part of leaders. And now Jerusalem municipality by themselves, they have 3 steps of leaders, one of environmental groups. One, it was the last time, it's very fresh what I'm telling you, what we are speaking on, because it's from last week I had an appointment with Azar, that she is the charge for this program. And on what we did, the base, the infrastructures, human infrastructures that we did in the first, between 2012 to 2017, if I can say. Now they continued with the money of the government that is given to Jerusalem municipality to push these infrastructures. I'm saying בכוונה infrastructure because it's like Itai, what he said about the push of the physical infrastructures, okay? And I'm said like a metaphor that it's gave a push also for the human being and the society and the community of the region, of the area, if I can say, especially for the neighborhood that live on, like Jabal Mukaber, Ras El Amud, Silwan, Abu Tor, Aturi. This is the base neighborhood that they are on the base. So it's very important to understand. And now what we are doing now is working with Jerusalem municipalities about these 3 levels of communities that they have working with the new communities or new people that want to learn about environmental issues. The middle groups that they are after one course and they want to deep on. And the third group is the leaders, what they call. This is special groups that they are passing they are also very important leaders in the communities. They are, some of them working in Jerusalem or in many places. And now we are actually working with Jerusalem municipalities or on education and a program with these groups. And the 4th special group that we are going to open is the new group, only a group, a special group of Kidron Valley, Wadi al-Nar group, that they will be the special group that they can be the leader of the Wadi al-Nar. They will working in the schools, that they can be like מסבירנים. איך אומרים מסבירנים? like leaders that they are
ambassadors.
Explain all the program and what is, and physical. We are trying to do tours in the situation now. It's very complicated because it's not so safe to do it now, but it's so exciting to see what happened now. This is the reason that Itai told that we have to come to tour, that you have to come to tour. Why? Because first of all, there is no any sewage on the area under Jabal Mukaber, that it was open sewage, okay? Secondly, the infrastructure of מתקן טיפול, תעזרו לי,
the treatment plant.
The place that all the sewage is coming on is the building is almost maybe three level. It's amazing how it's running the process, and it's very interesting. It's reminding because I was involved in Khiria project. Is West the most important famous dump for the beginning of the 70s, 60s of Israel. It's the same story that we use the recycled material like building waste that is there, and other, and of course the water, what it will be with the water, how the water will be taking for other cultures for the futures, and the other things is very impressive how they manage the planning of the area with, not to forget the local heritage like the olive trees and plants that they are original in the place, like chatzavim, the special plant that they are in autumn, not to take them out, like another flowers, that it's like a big, huge park that be also involved between the season, between natural park, as we said, between spring and, for example, 2 seasons, okay, in Israel, spring and autumn, you can see the changing. And also, this is also another challenge, how to involve the community to show and to open the mind and the eyes about these researches that they are in, because it's something that close and low, as every time that I'm bringing people there, they say, we didn't thought that we can find so many things here. So it's another challenge to actually, now this is the 3rd level, to give them, to do a lot of work with the community to understand what research they have got, how they can enjoy for that, and how mother, that if she want to go with her baby, because Jabal Mukaber is like that, and that, it's not something flat, how she can take the trolley or, with the baby, and she can have a nice walking on the park, and sitting and enjoy from, good air, and not to smell, and to understand and to see a lot of things like what the women say, because we did a focus group before, and what they said, we want the olive oil will be a part of our identity, how it will stay, and maybe there will be a lot of action around that, for example, to take the olives, to do olive oils there. I don't know what still we are going to do there, but we are now in the process of doing a lot of effort, and of course summer is not the time, but we are starting to do the infrastructures for that. The effort for all 24, the last quarter of 23 and all 24. I wish if next summer we will talk together and I will tell you what happened with these groups and what changed with the knowledge and the activities of the communities about that. Of course, it's not so simple because there is a lot of community it's Jabal Mukaber, and still one by itself. It's very political communities, it's not easy to convince them by the trust that this park is belong to them, that it's not be like the case study of David City, for example. And we have to do a lot of very gentle, if I can say, very sensitive process to build this trust, okay? And trust is not something that you can put in the gun to say, okay, until the 24 we have this trust. It's very complicated, and what I'm working now is about also this issue and about the strategic of all what I told you, how it will be together. And the last important things is how the community will manage the park when the Jerusalem municipality will get the key for the park, okay? They have to manage it.
And who will they give it to when they get it?
And other things. So how they will, the community will manage to do a model or to create a model. That's what I'm dealing all the time about. How we are creating a new model that is not exist in the east of Jerusalem. That is the local community are the manager of the park, and they are a part. Okay, Jerusalem municipality, of course, they are part of, but we are doing something that it's new. How they will say what is necessary. They will take care, and that make everything more clear for the future, that it will be stay as is for sustainable thinking and for long time for the old generation. So it's this all our challenges,
okay.
And not easy, but the good things to say about Jerusalem, East Jerusalem community, that maybe the processes are difficult, but when it starts to run, it's running. I'm working in many communities, all places of Israel, and I always giving the East Jerusalem community as example for processes that when you know exactly when it starts to work, it's working. So I'm still optimist, of course, and I wish that at the end of 24, beginning or maybe 25, we have all this process ready for Jerusalem municipality, and for me, it's like to close all these projects and to give absolutely the key for Jerusalem municipalities, and to say I did it as the song, famous songs, I did it on my way. So, that with a lot of partners, of course. So, if you have questions, it was clear, so...
Thank you very much, Edith.
You're most welcome.
אני רוצה עוד שאלה אחת לפני שאנחנו נעשה הפסקה. One more question before we take a break, and that is the question that Michal always asks me, which is the success of the project. Why did this project, Benny Elbaz said this is the only large infrastructure project crossing borders in Israel. It's true. And the question is why this project did succeed, whereas others, and there are lots of others. I know I work in the water field for years, and there's a problem in all the rivers crossing streams. Why did this project succeed? So we have Arya with us, and we have Liaora somewhere there, and Glenn. So Arya, you see, maybe you can relate to that question, and then Edith also. Why do you think it succeeded, Arya? If it succeeded, maybe it's the first question. If this was a success, and why did it succeed?
Richard, with all due respect, and with Arya's permission and Leora's permission, I just think that we are missing a big part of why we shouldn't be running victory circles right yet, even though so much has been accomplished. Because one of the things that I think these folks are working on is exactly your question: what was successful, what was not successful, and that question really does go back to, I think, what was Steve's contribution and our contribution as a group here in developing the financial model, which is only partially integrated. So no,
we didn't do that model at all.
Excuse me?
We didn't do that model.
No. Let me just explain.
Yeah, go ahead.
Because I would like to see that. I think everybody has presented their contribution to this project, and what's missing is how I think he really posed this problem of trust, right? So I always try to teach my students that in Hebrew, imun, there's no trust without mimun, without finance. If there's some money, not being able to pay people to work on this project, not being able to pay for the other ecosystem services, we're delivering 3 sets of services here, both recreation, water resources, and ecological services, all of which, I think Benny and you guys have really well. So I think a few minutes just to talk about the capital structure, which we have 815 million shekels to build wastewater treatment plants, which is extremely important because nothing would happen. So those direct services, Steve unfortunately has walked out of the room because I think you, but the indirect services and the indirect ideas, which is also a source of money, a source of resources once you can make it that was your whole idea, was the watershed really as the frame of reference.
Right.
And there are 16 streams between Israel, the Palestinian territories, and Jordan. 16 streams, 2/3 of them are in the Palestinian territories, originate there, and they flow upstream and downstream. So you've got the coastal aquifer, and understanding the watersheds that are related to it, which are multiple watersheds of each of the streams, these 16 streams that cross transboundary borders. So, so that's I just thought we should really pinpoint that. And they spent these 2 students spent some time with Steve earlier in the week and with me.
Yeah.
But if you look at the one chapter that's in the master plan, the area that covers that, from 2013, it goes into ecological services, paying for payments for those services. It deals with recreation, so the mountain bike path and things like that, and the increase in tourism revenues, which would be of interest to all the communities in the watershed, and then the water, of course, is the questions that you very appropriately asked, Sam, which was, what's the price going to be to the Palestinian Authority, or if they're not the payer, who is the payer? Who's going to pay for those treated effluents and relative, and what that formula is? And that's a question that does have to be asked and answered in the context of the work that you're doing of assessing this. So I just wanted to throw in that.
Well, go forward.
No, I think that was enough. I'd like Steve to expand on it, but I want to throw the ball back to Arya and Liora too.
I want you to start off by saying, answering the question that we posed, which was, do you think the project was a success, and why do you think it was successful? Because you're saying
why it was successful was that the master plan got done thanks to the steering committee. That created, I think, an important frame. That's what we call pre-development of a project.
Yeah.
And that's what nobody wants to pay for. That after all the money that's gone into the Palestinian Authority or gone into feel-good things and not so feel-good things like security, to actually go through what would be the economic development and the community development and the environmental services, those 3 things coming together, that's what that was indeed quite a success.
Okay.
And in fact, the people at Lumi Capital were able to take part of that capital structure and implement it, just based because the Gijon had a reserve that they'd been collecting of revenues over the years to treat sewage that had never been treated, which created the problem. So, these are what they call, the engineers call wicked problems that are so interconnected they seem impossible to solve.
Right.
So so this is a great example of a wicked problem. Just Google wicked problems, and they're in engineering, architecture, physical sciences, and everything. And and we got a lot of wicked problems around here. We got, aside from those 16 streams, that converts into, 5 or 6 watersheds that could have the same set of solutions that all need the same type of process that you designed and implemented.
I think what Glenn is saying is, to put it into a phrase, is there's this expression of where there's a will, there's a way. We wrote also that where there's a way, there's a will. And I think Glenn is talking about that, man, that if you don't put something down on paper, if you don't have a map, you don't have a master plan, you really haven't got anything to present to anybody. So you have to put down on paper a plan. You've got to put money in that plan. Of works, and you have to develop it. And I think that was obviously one of the key reasons why this plan was a success, because we actually got a plan down on paper. You can imagine what it's like working with Arya, Leola, and all these prima donnas I always used to say. I mean, these are really special people that came on this project and put in a lot of time, and part of it was because this project was a special project. But the result was that we had all these prima donnas working together on a project that turned out in the final analysis to be some kind of success. So, Arya, I'm back to Glenn. I'll just take
No,
off
that's fine. I just wanted to
and go back to Arya.
throw a list of
If it was a success, and what was the reason why you think this project succeeded, whereas I can talk about anyone. You talk about the Kishon, Alexander, all the others have completely failed. But, you know. So, Arya,
I have 4 observations. If it is a success, and why it is a success if it is a success. I think the fact that it is a cross-boundary project, it's a major starting point for the success. So we are not doing a project until the boundary, but we look at it in a...
And the basin, the basin, okay.
I think this is one reason. The second thing is the fact that we took a holistic approach, a multidisciplinary holistic approach. With the support of our chairman, of course, and our client. It is not obvious to think of sewage and culture simultaneously. But the fact that we had the privilege of looking at it in a multidisciplinary way established a platform to work in a way that gives chance for success. The third issue is the fact that there were many people involved and many parties involved. I remember the meeting on a bridge above the Kidron.
The tent meeting.
This was brilliant decision of placing, to place the inauguration of the project in 2014 on top of the sewage running below the bridge, and everybody could smell the sewage and understand how serious it is. And there were 200 people there from different backgrounds. The minister was there, the mayor was there, the representatives of different groups were there. The fact that there are many people involved established the fact that such a project aroused interest from many parties. And the fourth point is the community work. I think it's really important what, it was my last slide, but it was very important what he did say. Started, initiated, stimulated community activity, which gave it a chance to serve everybody, not just the client or not just the interest groups.
Indeed.
There is Leora.
Excuse me.
Excuse me.
We'll get to her in a second.
We worked on this project together with Liora, so I'm very glad that you joined us, Liora.
I had my secretary call her. She's sleeping.
I think that whatever I said, you could say much better. So please, if you have anything to contribute, go ahead.
You talking to me, Arya?
Yes.
I didn't hear what you were talking before, so it's better that you talk.
It's to your advantage. You can talk about anything you want.
The question, Leora, I asked to Arya, to Glenn, and to Edith, and to you, is a simple question. Was the project a successful project? I'm talking about the master plan project, of course. Was it successful? And if it was successful, what was the reason why it was successful? Because why can't it be used in other cross-boundary streams in Israel? Because it has not been used. That's the question. You want to wait a few minutes and let Edith talk, or you want to roll on it? את רוצה להתקדם לבד או רוצה
It's hard for me to hear.
Hard for you to hear.
Altogether, I think it's the consciousness of the awareness of the problem within officials and also the residents, and the conscious that they know, the people who live there, they understand the potential of the place and that things can be changed, and that the fact that everybody became part of really moving the things forward.
Right, I agree. זה בנוסף למה שאתה אמרת. Aria mentioned 4 plans. Avner going here, can you imagine? Out of the hospital. Avner, he's probably hooked up to some kind of something. Avner, אתה מחובר לאיזשהו מכשיר, איזה dialysis או משהו? טוב, עידית, go ahead in the meantime, say a few words. Why you think it was a success, if it was a success, and why?
אני ראובן?
עלייך עידית, אמרתי עידית.
Okay. So I will summarize it with like 3 words. As the copywriter is VIP. This is a project VIP. That it means that he had and he still have it, the vision, then the interest, and the last is the passion. All this, I think, all these words and what is behind these words is make this project very, very unique. And of course, it's not. It's a long process. Each of these words have a long story, as you saw before. What I talked before, and also it is a special program. I think that there is, as I said before, the thinking of people to people inside. So people to people is the staff and who was involved in the policy and also the planning and also the activity as a team, because as we remember we were together, we met together in this room that you are sitting now in מכון ירושלים, and we all the time sought with a passion as a group what we can do more and how we can raise money more. And there was also leaders, like Lester by himself, that push it bottom up because it's not his duty. And like Gary Amal, that he was the vice president of רשות ניקוז ים המלח Dead Sea Authority. And without any leaders those days, and today Itai, that he pushed, he understood that he got the project and he have to push all the infrastructures to be run fast and working well with Jerusalem municipalities. So the combination of people to people in all the process, by the vision, by the interest and doing, by the professionality and the passion, I think make it a very unique project that is a very, very good case study. By myself, a lot of people ask me to tell, to come, and to say what happened, how is to work with the community in East Jerusalem. And I think it's really, if I'm seeing, as I said before, that I'm working in many communities in all places in Israel, I really believe that it's a very, very unique project. Okay. And I really recommend Liaora, Arya, and all of us to be and to see after maybe November, it's better time, to see what happened now, and you really will be surprised and excited, I'm sure. Because the first time that I saw it and I was standing there, I said, wow. And last 2 weeks ago, I bought a few women in Jerusalem, from Jerusalem municipality, that they were once here before, and they said, we don't believe, now we can start to understand what is supposed to be. So it's really exciting, and I know it by myself, the processes like that, to how you take the vision and the people and the infrastructure that we are running, and to put them on the mind. So this is here, this is done. Still we have a lot of things to do, but this is my point of view.
Thank you very much, Edith. We have plenty of time, but we're going to close it up in a few minutes. I just wonder if there's some questions that any of you have, Sam or Mia or Michal or even Avery, if you have any questions you want to ask. This is your time. And we were successful in getting a lot of people in this meeting together at the last minute because we didn't expect this kind of movement today of what's happening on the roads in Israel. But in any case, so let me just conclude by saying a few things, unless you have questions.
Yeah, I do have one question.
Go ahead.
So the whole point of this project was that it's a cooperation between Israel and the Palestinian Authority, and the cooperation aspect has fallen.
I don't think that's true. The Palestinian Authority came in afterwards. It was the sub-sovereign level that put this together in the steering committee.
Okay. Can you speak on that?
Well, that is partly correct, but partly not correct. From the very beginning, I mentioned you people I met with at that time, the water.
It wasn't top-down, is what I mean.
I met with the water. No, it certainly wasn't top-down. I met with the water minister at the time, Shaddad Atili, and had his disapproval to join the project, but his approval for me to do the project. And he was always kept informed, and we even met with Shaddad several times with the team. And of course, the involvement of Suleiman El-Assad, who was the local person involved, and he represented the 5 communities. So it was, in a sense, a cooperation, but in the Israeli-Palestinian style. And the way you worked here is you do things under the radar screen, otherwise you can't get anything done. So, but go ahead, what was the question?
So just with the construction of the pipeline, currently that is all being done by Israel. What makes this project different from any other projects that are just fully Israel pushed? Like, why was the cooperation an important aspect if so much of that has fallen through right now?
It's a good question. The answer is that we don't know what the answer is because we don't know what's going to happen with the pipe and the Palestinian Authority. And we do not know what's going to happen with the distribution of water downstream. We still don't know. We don't have an answer to those 2 questions. If the pipe is Palestinian built, and if the Palestinians join in the project as they said they would with the sewage treatment plant in Bethlehem, B'Sachor, then of course there will be remnants of the joint project. And if the sewage, the treated sewage goes to Jericho, there will be some remnants of the joint cooperation. But we don't know, Sam, the answer to those questions yet. It's an ongoing project, an ongoing phase. And I'm not sure we're going to know that until the project's over. Because no one tells us. You heard Benny and Itai, they won't talk about what's really happening on this thing. So we do not know what's going to happen next.
So it would have never happened had you not had that tent meeting or had that signing of the Joint Water Council's agreement. The Gihon would have never gotten involved at the level that it did, or it would have been blocked by ministers on the Israeli side or the Palestinian side.
That's for sure.
So it was very key to have this middle out, sort of, it wasn't completely bottom up, but if you didn't have the financial models as well as the community models that Edith worked on, building some constituency and support for that with Engineers Without Borders and with the mayors and the city engineer, and all these people that Richard put together into the, it would have never had the legitimacy to go through. In fact, as Richard will recall, in 2002, we had a letter from Salam Fayyad, who was at that time the finance minister, saying this is a great project, you guys should get behind it. Everybody, the Palestinian Water Authority, nobody listened to the Palestinian finance minister, then, since, or after, or before, or to anybody else that we got letters from at the time. So,
could you explain a bit more what Benny was talking about when he said that the sewage is going from Beit Lahem to Beit Shala?
Benny's trying to say that there's going to be some shifting of sewage, different direction to different sewage treatment plant, because part of the plan was that there was going to be change in the Palestinian infrastructure. That was the original agreement. I mentioned that to you before. I haven't seen that agreement. Nobody else had. But the original agreement talked about sewage from Abu Dis and from Beit Sachor going in different places. The Palestinians were going to build local treatment plants and use the sewage, the treated sewage, by themselves. That was the idea. That was the original plan. And what happened that we don't know. We just know that in Abu Dis nothing happened. And Benny seems to think that the sewage is coming from Beit Sahur is going to be treated by the Palestinians in some fashion or another. Maybe there's European involvement, maybe there's money involved. But I think that's what he's talking about. He wasn't clear. But nothing's clear. You have to understand, we work in the Middle East, we often work in a situation where we don't really know what's going on. And we sort of muddle through.
Like when does the demonstration start?
We don't know what's going on, that's clear, and this is part of the success of the project. At the same
Only
time,
through the fog.
I think we could look at expectations, and I think one of the expectations is water. When the sewage was not treated, polluted water was available for the population, for the people living along the Kedron Valley, along Wadi Nar. And they expect to get part of the water which is purified. And I think this is an important issue, how you distribute the cleaner water.
That's really, and Muhammad mapped all that out too in getting the permissions for the pipe.
And the second issue is agriculture. They still have bottom-up agriculture. And I think they want to conserve this. And these two issues, supply of water and the possibility to continue with low-key agriculture along the valley, are two issues that I think should be preserved as the project goes on.
It's part of the landscape in your pictures is to have that there, and it's actually, I understood from the folks in Obadiah that it's part of the Palestinian Land Authority's plan for the agricultural development. So.
But it's not in the project right now, so we don't know. But in any case, I think we're going to wrap it up. I want to say thanks to everybody who's still here and who joined us. Avner was here for a few minutes and disappeared as usual. But so Liora, you made it. Toda rabba, Idit, bemet toda. Ari.
Too bad I didn't know earlier.
But I sent you the link this morning.
Yeah, I know. Well, I didn't look at it. Sorry.
All right.
In any case, I think that you played a major role in driving this whole process.
Well, that's why I invited you to come to say those few words. Anyway, thank you very much, Glenn and Steve. תודה רבה.
We have sandwiches if you guys want to.
Yeah, we have sandwiches.
אני רק אעדכן אתכם שיש ספר שנקרא קהילות אקולוגיות, שיצא לאחרונה בהוצאת רסלינג. אורית גולן ודוקטור מיכל יובל מדוד ירין ואנוכי כתבנו שם פרק על קהילות הקדרון.
מה את אומרת? איך זה נקרא שוב? הספר?
קהילות אקולוגיות בישראל. רגע, אני אעשה פרומושן לזה. רגע, שנייה.
את יכולה לשלוח לנו את זה? אוקיי.
Yeah, sure, send us a link or something.
קהילות מקיימות, הנה, בבקשה, לא רואים את זה. זה הספר שנקרא לשומרה, קהילות מקיימות ואקולוגיות בישראל, בהוצאת רסלינג. ויש פה פרק שמתאר במה שנקרא בהסתכלות רטרו-פרספקטיבה של 5 שנים, בדיוק בשנים הזה של 2012-2017, שמתאר ככה את התהליכים שהיו. אז מי שתרצו לקוראים בעברית, לקרוא וקצת שיהיה לכם קצת יותר מסודר, אז
תודה רבה. שאלה טכנית, רק רציתי לשאול אם אתם קיבלתם את התמונה, צילמתי את המפה.
כן, כן.
קיבלתם? יופי.
כן.
תודה.
אני אעביר לכם את הלינק של הספר.
יופי, יופי, זה מאוד יעזור לנו. תודה.
אז כדאי.
Thanks to Glenn and thanks to Glenn, thanks to David, and thanks to David.
Allah. Okay, להתראות חבר'ה.
Okay.
תודה רבה.
Steve, תודה.
We can get our lunch and sit outside if you want to change it.
We can get our sandwiches.
A little bit more air out there.
Okay.
Thank you.
That's exactly what I mean. The water and the agriculture.